do mostly legs, kind of a combination of stretch and strengthen and balance. And we're going to build a fun obstacle course with the props. I'm very excited. I did it earlier today and it was very fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's begin, and before we do anything, we'll start with a little pre-check. So come stand up. Yes, we won't be here long. I just take a forward fold, and it'll probably be not great. It'll probably be a little stiff. Notice whatever you notice. Do you touch the floor? How easy is it to get down there? Notice if there's like one spot that kind of stands out that's getting the most amount of pull. Maybe everything's just kind of tight. Great. And then bend the knees a little bit to come back up to stand. And now we'll do a little kind of manual palpate the back of the leg. So come sit down here and just pick a side. And you'll start, so you'll hold the hands like this, close to the knee at the hamstring with the fingers in the inside, and just kind of mash a little bit lovingly in the divot. And there are 3 hamstring muscles, but at this point in the leg, there's 2 on the inside and 1 on the outside. So we'll start to go down until probably about halfway down the divot will disappear, but just keep going that direction. All the way down to the ring bone. We'll do it one more time from the knee to the hip. Just a little mash. And then we'll now do the lower leg. And for this one, put your hands like this and the thumbs on the back of the leg, and the gastroc, the calf muscle, it has 2 heads to it. So we're gonna put the thumbs in between the 2. Same thing, just kind of go through the divot until the divot disappears. And keep going down until it becomes less muscle and more tendon. And we'll go back again, do the same path. You know, how often do we do this, right? Never. And then let's sit down for a second. We'll do a little midway check-in, just in our Dandasana, with the legs out. And just from what we did, notice if the leg you've done feels different than the leg you haven't. And one thing in particular you might notice is kind of subtle, but it might be a little closer to the floor. You guys feel that? It's sometimes too, it feels like a little wide, a little more spread out. So do the second side, thumbs on the outside, fingers in the divot, and then go up the leg or down the leg, I guess. Depends how you think about it. Do the same. We'll do 2 passes. And then after that, we'll put the thumbs in the calf. And just go all the way down. Great, and then we'll do a little sweep. So put the leg down, actually. Let's take another comparison here. See if they feel more even. And then you'll take your hands and just kind of a sweep from the hips to the feet. Do that a few times. Yes, indeed. So let's come up, we'll do our post check, forward fold. And then I promise we won't do so much up and down after this. Yeah, so come into your forward fold again and see if it's any easier.
It is.
Amazing. You have a miracle. Seems like we did nothing, but we did something. Notice too if that one spot or multiple spots that you felt, if they're in the same place or have they moved? Or maybe it feels more like a continuous leg instead of chunks. Right, bend the knees a little bit. Inhale all the way up. And release the arms. Okay. So next we'll come to sit, and I'll invite you to join me in Virasana on the knees with a block or 2 in between the feet. And if that's a no-go for you, just sit cross-legged, but you can sit like so if that works for you. Yeah, so smart. If you want to put a blanket under the knees for extra padding, go ahead and do. Oh. And then once you're set, James, is that okay?
Mhm.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Once you're set prop-wise, come up again, take your hands on the calf flesh and just pull it back and away, like out, away from behind the knees so you get a little room. And then come back again. Yeah. Travis, you okay here?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
is it?
I've just got some screws sticking out
I
of my leg.
remember that. Your story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Try this. Take the top block and flip it this way so it's higher, and see if that feels better for you.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad there.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I bounced it.
Okay, we're gonna be here for a bit.
That's
So.
fine. Yeah, it's
All right. And then because we're fairly high, let's do one at a time. So make a fist with each hand, and you'll start at the heel and kind of just scrape the foot from heel to toe. And you can alternate sides.
Is it cheating if you touch your toes?
Yeah, but it's okay. You'll be fine. if you need to, yeah. And then go a little more towards the inner part of the foot, the inner arch. Great. Okay, let's leave the feet alone and leave the hands alone. Give yourself a small little wobble from side to side and see if you can find the middle. And then from here, allow your eyes to close if that feels all right. And find a slight lifting up of the base of your skull so that your jaw can relax, your muscles in your face can relax. And just take a few easy breaths. Breathe, notice where you feel movement happening. From here, we'll lower the chin down, allow your eyes to blink open. And then as we bring the head back up to the center, let's stretch the arms up overhead, interlace your fingers. Press upward through the palms and just take a small little side to side. Oh, yeah. Good, good, good. And then we'll undo the hands, give the wrists a little circles as you come down. And just to stretch out, bring a little blood flow to the legs again. Just reach a leg back, toes tucked under, and give yourself a little back and forth. And do both sides. Great. So from here, let's come into downward dog, and don't worry if it feels a little stiff. It'll open up over time. Once you get there, if it feels good to pedal, again, you can. And then straighten the knees, shift your hips, spine, whatever needs to move here. And then when you're ready, let's bring hands and feet together. Just a forward fold. Bend the knees a little bit and root down to rise up. Come all the way up to stand. Release your arms. Yes. So we'll do a little mobility exercise for the ankles. Take your right foot, step it forward, and without moving the pelvis, rotate the leg in. So the toes will kind of turn on an angle. And then you can bend the knees a little bit and rock towards the right foot, the outer edge of the foot, and then back to center. So do that a few times, creating a little pronation, actually supination in the foot. But be gentle if if your ankles are iffy, if you've had any foot stuff. All right, and then come out of that, and we'll do the left side. So foot a little forward, rotate the leg in, but keep the pelvis forward, and then just do that rock to the outer foot and back to center. Yeah. Okay, and then we'll come back to middle. Take your feet wide. You can step off the mat or turn sideways, whatever you like. And then we'll bend the right knee, and this time shift to the inner foot and back to center. Do that a couple of times. Yeah, just like Elvis would do. Now, if you feel any sort of pull or strain in the inner knee, do less or change your stance a little bit. If you feel a little stretch on the inner leg, though, that's okay. Just you don't want to feel it right in the inner knee. All right, and then center. Let's do the second side. Great. Okay, release that. Come back to middle. And now you'll take the right leg back and be on the toenails on the top of the foot. And it doesn't have to go back too far. You'll notice how the ankle will want to bow out to the side. At first, let that happen. Now you'll bend both knees and shift back slightly in the hips. And then come back up to center. Do that one a few times. Feel free to grab the wall if you need it for balance. Yeah. And normally I wouldn't tell you to put your foot in this position, but because we're moving very slowly, methodically, we're okay. Let's stay on the same foot, and then now hug the ankle in towards the midline, and you'll get less surface area when you do it this way, and then you'll bend and come back up. This is an area we don't focus on too much, and especially for the guys, it can be pretty tight. Good. Okay, enough of that. Just move the foot around a bit. And then here we go for side two. So the left leg will go back around the toenails. At first, let the ankle bow out to the side. Bend the knees, bring the hips back, and come to center. Take that a few times. And then next time you're up, change the ankle so the ankle hugs in, and then take another few rounds of this. Great. And then release that, move the foot around a little bit. Now, if balance is an issue, go stand by a wall or grab some furniture. Pick up the right leg, and we'll make ankle circles. Just go around one direction, and then the other way. Crunch, 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 they go. Now we'll go the first direction again. Go slower. See if you can let the toes be completely relaxed and let the movement truly happen from the ankle. Weird, isn't it? And then the other direction. Toes stay relaxed. You really want to drive. Don't let up. And release. Now let's go to side two. The first round of circles, let the toes do what they want to do. They'll be fairly active. And then other direction. Yeah. Go back to direction one. Try to relax the toes and let the movement just happen in the ankle. Yeah, for me, the circle becomes less circular. And then do the other side, other direction. Okay, and then release that. Last thing with this exercise, so right foot again, and now you'll make a fist with the foot. Just scrunch it up, and then open up the toes, wiggle them. And do that a few times. Squeeze, release, and wiggle. I have to do my hand too. You can do that if you want. All right, other side. Squeeze, release, and wiggle. And yes, this does tighten up the foot a little bit, so we'll stretch it in a second. Okay, release that. Let's come stand at the front of the mat and be in your mountain pose. Look down at the feet for a second. Have the toes pointing straight ahead. Very slight bend in the knees. And just lift the toes, not the ball of the feet, just the toes. Spread them out wide, and you'll probably notice you shift back a little bit. And when you set the toes down, notice if you shift forward. Let's do that one more time. Pick them up, spread them out wide, shift back. And now bring your torso upright, your gaze just in front of you, and try to bring the toes down without shifting back. Yeah, just let them relax down on the floor. Inhale, up come the arms. Exhale, down we go, forward fold. Always fine if you need to bend the knees to come down. Let's come up halfway, moving the chest forward. And then down we go to plank pose, hands on the floor, feet come back. And I think you guys are all fine with straight legs. So let's be in your just normal plank pose, and with your feet, push forward and back. A little stretch in the feet and a little work in the core and the arms. Put your brain in your feet and just try to sense what they're doing. And the next time your soles of the feet are straight up and down, pause there. Yeah, if you need a break, you can take a little down dog for a second. All right. And then let's put the knees down first. Come all the way down to the belly. And we'll do some slither cobras here. So lift up the chest just a little bit, one shoulder at a time. We'll take a little roll back and forth. Yes. And then from here, pause. Let's press up and back into downward facing dog. We'll be here for a moment. If you need a little bit of movement time, take that. And then within the down dog, settle down if you're taking some movement. Bend the knees for a second. Keep that. With your hands, don't move them, but try to press them forward so the hips drop back away from the hands. And try to keep them back as the legs start to go straighter. Notice at any point if the hips start shifting forward, then you do a reset. All right, yogis, looking good, looking good. Let's bend the knees just slightly. Separate your feet about as wide as the mat. And now walk the hands back towards your feet. Root down into the legs. Inhale, all the way up we stand. Arms lift, legs lengthen. And then we'll bring the arms down. Great. So go get one of the blocks and let's come stand at the back of the mat. I'll just face you here. We'll put the block wide. Bring it below the knees at the widest part of the calves, and just have your feet as the legs as far as they need to be to accommodate the block. I know it's awkward. So let's bend the knees slightly. Give the block a little squeeze with the inner legs, and you'll notice here the inner foot kind of presses down, the ankles draw in, and then release that little squeeze. Do that again. Squeeze in. And then release. All right, keep the block in there. Bend the knees and bring the hips back. Crisscross up the forearms. This one's very awkward looking. Slide the hands high up on the inner thighs. Rest the forearms on the tops of the legs. And then let's start at the upper legs, I mean. So press the hands back and apart. Yeah, and feel that kind of widening sensation at the pelvis and the tops of the thighs. Now, the block is here for one reason, so the knees don't turn in. They have a tendency to do that when we press the inner thighs back. So keep your hands here. Inner thighs are pressing back and apart. Give the block a little squeeze. Press down through the ball of the big toe. Yeah. Right. And then release the arms. Just relax the legs. Keep the block in there and just come stand for a second. Okay, so far so good. So we're going to add on. I'm going to walk back here. Let's bend the knees a little bit. Bring the hips back. And now bring your fingertips to the floor. You can bend the knees as much as you need to do that. Now, pretend you had another set of hands and they are pressing the upper thighs back and apart. Give your block a squeeze. Knees stay bent. Walk the hands as far forward as you can. Yes. But the knees stay bent, heels stay on the floor. You guys back up a little bit. I know I didn't say that, so that's my bad. All right, now one more time, upper thighs press back and apart. Give your block a little squeeze. Heels stay on the floor. Can you go straighter in the legs? And if you can't, you can't. Just do what you can. Heels stay down on the floor. And if the hands can walk a little further out, do. If you need to put them flat, that's okay. If you want to stay on the fingertips, that's okay too. All right, so likely now you're getting a little stretch in the calves. One more time, upper thighs press back and apart. Give your block a squeeze. And now this time, walk the hands forward. Go ahead and do let the heels lift off the floor, but just a little bit. Yeah, so now it's a little bit more similar to a downward dog. Give the block a little squeeze. Roll the upper inner thighs back and apart. Ah, okay. Let's put the knees down, take your block out, just put it to the side. I know, it was kind of horrible, wasn't it? Yeah. All right, come down onto your belly. Oh, scooch the legs one at a time, back and down. And we'll do at first a little work for the leg, and then we'll do a little stretch for the leg. So bend the right knee and just have the foot up there. And without letting the right half of the pelvis lift, can you lift the right knee and thigh? And it's not going to go high. You'll feel the hamstring and the glute kicking a little bit. Now, keeping the leg slightly elevated. Start to go straighter in the leg. Oh, yeah. And now engage the quads right above the kneecap. So feel that kind of firming sensation around the knee. And James, I think your right pelvis came up. Keep the right. Yes, there it is.
It has a tendency.
I know, that sneaky right pelvis. Okay, down comes the leg. And then let's do the left side. So bend the knee, reach the knee back and lift the thigh up off the floor, but not the pelvis. Yeah, just hold that for a second. So it's a little thing, but it's a lot of work. And then let the leg start to go straighter or all the way straight, firming up right around the knee. Yeah. Good. And then down and rest. We're going to do each side again with a little add-on. So bend the right knee, reach the knee back, lift the leg a little bit, and then start to straighten it out. Keeping this idea of whatever's engaged, keep it engaged, lower the leg down, and then lift it up again. Do that a few times without letting the right pelvis lift up off the floor. I say the right pelvis, I mean the right half of the pelvis, but you got that. All right, and then we'll change to the left side. So start with the knee bend, the thigh lift, and then straighten to just reinforce that. Up and down goes the leg, keeping it straight the whole time without lifting the left half of the pelvis. Good, good. All right, and now let's bend the right knee again. This time we'll do the quad stretch. So hold on to the foot if you can reach. If not, you can lay on the side and do it this way. All right, now in this position, try to reach the knee towards the back of the mat, but reach your navel towards the front of the mat. So creating a little pull through the front of the leg. You can flex the foot too if you wish. Good. All right, release and change. Side two, bending the left knee. Send the tip of the knee to the back of the mat, the navel to the front of the mat. Flex the foot if you want. Yes, tight quads today. Me too. My left one's always tighter. All right, guys, release that. Stay in the belly, just wiggle a little bit. And then we'll take it back, downward facing dog. No block this time, just regular down dog. Yeah. Okay, now from your down dog, separate the feet. We'll walk to the back of the mat, hands to the feet. Root down to rise up, inhale. And release the arms down. Yeah, so now let's stand at the back of the mat, feet a little closer to each other, and we'll do a little balance, walk, march sort of thing. So the right leg stays down, the left leg comes up, right arm forward. Yeah. And then change, left foot down, right leg up. Doesn't really matter what side you're on. And then step and lift. Yeah. Great. And then once you get to the front of the mat, walk backwards.
That's like dancing.
James. You could do jazz hands. That might make it more fun. Okay. All right. All right. Nice. Now stay at the back of the mat. Keep the feet a little apart. Bend the knees and then shift back to chair pose, but don't go too deep. Take the hands to prayer. And like we did earlier, lift the toes up, spread them wide. That'll shift the weight back. And now we'll put the toes down, lift the heels, and shift your weight forward. Hug the ankles in. They want to go apart here. Let's go that a few times. So heels down, toes up, stretch the arms back, and then come forward, hands come to prayer. Do a few more like that. Just a little rock on the feet. Yes. Now we'll add on the next time you're on the balls of the feet, the heels lifted. All right, start to straighten the legs. Keep the ankles hugging in. Take the arms up overhead. Yeah, now pretend you had a block in the calves and you're hugging it in with the inner line of the leg. Nice work, you guys. Are you breathing? Okay, just asking. All right, put the arms down, relax. Oh, yeah, don't worry. We'll stretch the calves later. Let's give the legs a little shake. All right, and now we'll stay at the back of the mat and do our march balance again. And if you want to up the ante a little bit, you lift the heel and you'll go a little quicker doing it that way. Yeah? Okay. So here we go at the back of the mat. Just pick a side. Doesn't matter what side you're on. Step and lift. Lift. And James is really like dancing now. Go back when you get to the front. Great, great, great. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So now I know those calves are tight. We're going to do one more thing to work them and then we'll stretch them. So go get your blanket and let's see, from the starting size, let's just fold it in half like this. Yeah. I mean, if you want more challenge, once I show you what we're doing, if you want to fold it to make it higher, that'll be more challenging, but we'll start with this. So the heels are down, the balls of the feet are on the blanket, and then you'll come up and down. Yeah? Oh, this is actually not too good. Great. Let's do it more like we did in chair pose earlier. So come down, bend the knees, bring the hips back, hands to prayer. That's it. And now shift forward, lift the heels, hug the ankles in, and then slowly we'll go up and we'll hold in the up position. Yeah, now it's a little more challenging. Whoa. Keep the ankles hugging in, squeeze your imaginary block. Okay, and then that's it for this, release. Yeah, come off, shake out the legs if you need. All right, now let's rearrange our blanket to a roll. So you can roll it up. I think we did some of these last time you guys were here. Yeah, and now let's put the blocks in front of your roll. If you know you're really, really tight in the backs of the legs, you could stack blocks higher or use a chair or even a wall. All right, so to get into this, let's put both feet on the roll with the toes up, the heel down. We're not going to do the up and down. We're just going to take a forward fold. So take a slight bend in the knees on the way down and just don't go to max capacity stretch because we're going to do a few things. So pretend you had another set of hands at the upper thighs, press back and apart. And then in your lower legs, draw in like you had the block there. And then keeping that, start to lift the hips up as you continue to reach the heels down. And the legs will start to straighten, maybe a little, maybe all the way. Yeah, at this point, if lowering the blocks seems like a great idea, you could. Again, if you need higher blocks, just stack them. Breathe. And then we'll take the tiniest movement here, like a little side to side shift, right and left. And we'll get into different sections of the leg. Great. Let's pause, bend the knees a little bit, step off the roll, root down to rise up, inhale arms, and exhale the arms. Well done, friends. Are you ready for the obstacle course? That's like the whole reason you came, right? Okay, so let's keep the roll, bring it to the back of the mat, but not all the way. Like have a little section of mat back here. And then you'll set up the two blocks in front of it with a little space in between. So we got blanket, block, block. Now, if you're at home and you don't have blocks, you could use books. And I recommend 2 different size books just to make it interesting. So you can probably have an inkling of what we're going to do. I'll wait for James. Okay. So let's stand the right foot at the back of the roll. And we're going to keep the foot flat for these. Left leg comes up into our march balance position. Yes, I'm not going to look at you. I'm just going to keep looking forward. Step the left foot down and change. Oh. And then it'll be a little relief when you get on the block. It's a little more stable. Maybe not a lot more stable. And then get to the front. And then guess what we get to do? Go backwards. Try not to look. Just try to feel it. I see. Yeah. James, how you doing? I can't see you at all.
Oh,
No
doing
answer.
great.
Oh, he's doing great. Okay.
Making a video.
He's. Remember, it was really popular for 5 minutes, the mannequin thing? Is this like that? Okay, come down. Nice job, Travis. Awesome. We're going to do it all over again, but starting on the left side. So, left foot down. Yep. And I won't talk too much. I don't want to mess you up. All right, so I'm sure you guys have a mask in your pocket. Let's now put our mask over our eyes, blindfolded. Just kidding, and do it again with a blindfold. Maybe next time, that's the advanced version. Yeah, all right, let's dismantle our setup here. You can just put the stuff away. We are gonna use the roll again, so that. All right, let's clear it out a little bit. Come to the front of the mat, root down through the legs. Inhale, we're up. Let's take our forward fold and do another forward fold check-in. Just see how the legs feel after all this stuff we've been doing. And then when you're ready, halfway lift. And down we go, hands to the floor. Let's come back, step the legs back, going into plank. We'll hold it for a little bit. From your plank, just for a second, can you clear the shoulders and then zip up a little bit through the low belly? And just for a little extra core work here, don't move the hands, but try to pull the thumbs in towards the midline. And then try, you won't, this will be subtle. Try to pull the heels of the hands back towards the toes. And it's okay if you lift up slightly more than you normally would. Yeah, good. You get a little tremble, extra bonus. All right, friends, let's put the knees down, come all the way down and rest. Yeah, take the arms back with the backs of the hands on the floor, and then you'll bend the fingers, making a loose fist, bend at the wrists so the knuckles go up and the wrists press down. And then undo the hands, give them a little wiggle, just like we did with the feet. And then curl in, bend at the wrist, and open little wiggle, one more. All right. And then while we're here, let's keep the arms back, lift the shoulders away from the floor, and then lift your limbs, arms and legs and head. If this is feeling all right, take the arms forward. Let's have thumbs up. And then we'll fold the hands, rest the forehead, rest the legs, bend your knees, give the legs a little swish from side to side. Great. We'll press back into downward facing dog. Now, a little bit similar to one of the ones we did before. From down dog, bring your feet closer together. And then from here, bend the right knee, bring the heel towards the buttock, but it won't touch. And then without letting the pelvis turn, reach the knee back. So you feel that engagement through the back of the leg. Then from here, start to go straight in the leg. Yeah. Well, let's work. Let's work. And then put the leg down, and we'll change to side two. So bending the left knee, first just bend it, And then bring the knee back, but don't turn the pelvis open. And then let the leg straighten, but don't turn the pelvis. Oh. Good, good, yogis. Your pelvises look so square. It's fantastic. All right, let's put the leg down. Now go back to the right leg. We'll do it again, but with the add-on. So bend, lift, and straighten. Keeping the leg straight, just lift and lower a couple of times here. Without letting the pelvis turn open, which you do so well. Okay, next time the leg comes down, other side. Lift, bend, bend, lift, and then straighten. Keeping it straight, up and down it goes. Awesome. Okay, and then release that. Let's forward fold and then up to stand. Inhale, rise. Good, circle the wrists out a couple of times. Yeah. And then just to erase that a little bit, take the feet kind of wide, bend the knees slightly, and let's do a standing slither asana, which is something I made up. But it feels good, doesn't it? If you keep coming, you'll know all the Caroline asanas. Okay, friends. So we'll put some of these things together that just into another pose. I'll talk you through it as we go. Let's have the blocks in front. They can be any height, hands on the blocks. And then from here, we've just done this. We're going to do it again. Bring the feet closer together. Bend the right knee. Lift the thigh, but don't turn the pelvis open. And then go straight in the leg. Now, even if the leg is not very high, that's fine. Totally fine. Stay here, bend the left knee, the standing leg just a little bit. Press the top of the left thigh back, and then keep it back as you re-straighten the leg. Firm up through the belly. If you're going well and want to add on, take the left arm just straight back. And if that's feeling okay, change not a thing except the left arm, go down and then forward with the thumb up. Yeah, great. Down with the arm, down with the leg, just come up to stand. Oh, awesome. It's a variation of Warrior 3 pose. So let's come do it again, other side. Down we come, feet together underneath you. Bend the left knee, and then lift the thigh, the knee points back. And just lift it as high as you can without turning the pelvis open. It might not go that high. Go straight in the leg, firm up around the kneecap. And then just for a sec, bend the right knee and pull the hip crease back. Lengthen the chest forward and then straighten the leg. Yeah, if you want to add in the right arm, you can go back or forward. Good, good, good. And then we'll release and come back up to stand. We're going to go again, but let's take this time hula hoop asana. And go ahead and let the knees bend, let there be extra movement in the ankles. Other direction. Yeah. She's good at these hula hoops. Right. And then we'll go again. Let me show. So we're going to do both arms this time. And often what happens here, when we take the arms, I'm just going to say forward. See how I'm kind of rounded? I'm going to have us take the arms back first to create more of this, and then see if you can maintain that as the arms come forward. And if the answer is no, just keep them back or do one forward, one back. It's totally fine. Yeah? We're going to get into it the same way just to reinforce it. So hands come down, feet right underneath you, bend the right knee, bring the knee back, and then let the leg straighten. All right, press the top of the left thigh back, move the chest forward, and then you decide if you know that just one arm is what you want to do. Do the left arm back. If you're good to try both, take both arms back. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Maybe one or both arms come forward. You could do one and then switch. That could be fun. Good, good, good. Whatever you're doing, start to finish it up. And then the hands land, the foot lands, up we come to stand. Oh, yogis. Both legs are working there, aren't they? Yeah. Anything you want to say before we switch? Last side? Nada. All right, let's do it. So down.
Great class.
Oh, thanks, Mary. I forgot she was there. All right. Feet underneath you. And then pick up the bend the knee, left knee bends. Bring the knee back, firm up through the back of the leg. Straighten the leg, firm up around the kneecap. Press the top of the right thigh back. Yeah, you choose. Arms back and then forward. One of each. Maybe just one arm at a time. Well, this is definitely my weaker side. Oh, yogis. Great, whatever you're fooling around with, let's be done. Release arms, release legs. And just, oh yeah, come on up. Yeah, awesome job. Let's, yeah, it's work, isn't it? Yeah, different kind of work though than like, other stuff we do. Let's bend the knees, bring the forearms on the thighs, just kind of rest for a second. And it might feel good to do a little side to side. Yeah. Great. Now, Mary, you'll have to do something else. We're going to do a kind of extended forward fold. If you want to do it laying down, I'll leave it up. You could do a seated forward fold if you want. For the rest of us standing, you'll take the feet as wide as you need and stack the blocks as high as you need to rest the forehead. Yeah, I can bring you a third block too if you need it. Yeah, you can turn the other way if the floor is slippery, just so you're on your mat. Yeah. James, you want another block? Or you know what, grab the chair and that little stool and put a block on top of it. See if that works. Yeah, I'm just gonna watch. Forehead on the block, yeah. But you can take it up as high as you need. Yeah, and it's meant to feel restful, so don't force yourself down too low for this one. But after being there for a moment, it might just feel natural to lower your block. And I'm going to talk you through just some very small engagement through the legs. We don't want to do it for this one just a little bit. It's just to keep the joints safe. So you bend the knees a little bit. At the tops of the thighs, press apart slightly. And like we have the hands there, you can roll them back a little bit, but here there's more of a danger of the knees knocking in. So just watch out for that. And then hug in slightly through your ankles. Slowly go straighter in the legs, keeping that little idea here. Upper thighs pressing apart, ankles hugging in. Yeah. Okay. We're starting to Padottanasana, the name of this one. Start to walk the hands just under you if they're not. Heel to the feet in a little bit. Move down. So come up. Oh, yogis. How are we doing? Good? Yeah? All right. Did we do the calf squasher last time? We did. I know I do it all the time with you. I don't remember if I did. Well, we'll do it now. We're going to do it anyway, but I wasn't sure if you've done it yet. So we'll take the blanket roll or re-roll it if you need. We'll be on the knees. If you need extra padding for the knees, you can get another blanket. Yeah, just go grab a second one. And then you'll pop that behind the knees. And you want to wedge it up as high as you can. And then a more mild version. James, flip your blanket, the knee blanket this way. And come more on it. So I want the feet to go on it too.
Oh, okay.
And then you'll make a little fold at the very back of it, like a little ledge, so that the front of the ankles are supported. And if anybody at home, I don't think Mary needs this, but if you're watching it later, what I've done with James, we've created a little ledge here so that the front of the ankle isn't floating. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get you even a third blanket if you need.
Oh.
Travis, you're okay? I don't want to mess with the screws in there. Okay.
I won't let you. Don't worry.
All right. Now from here, friends, let's take a slow side to side. Yeah, it's a cross fiber stretch. Cross fiber. And if you're hating it, it's okay. I hated it too for a really long time. Actually, I would get really mad at the teacher when we would do it, but now I love it and I subject you guys. Now you might get it more calves, you might get it more hamstrings. You might get one on one side, the other on the other side. Let's do one more spot, just push it back a little bit. And then, oh, it's totally different now. James, are you okay?
Yep.
All right. Sometimes can guess by looking at your face. Travis, we're almost done. We're almost done. The next one will be like a lot easier, a lot nicer. Okay, let's be done. Take the roll out. Oh yeah. And then just very gently, you can either one leg at a time back or take a down dog just to stretch out a little, bring some blood flow into the legs. Yeah. Now this next one, it's actually better with the foam roller. So if you do it at home, you can do it that way. But we're going to use the block, and these blocks are fairly soft. So take one block. It can go this way or this way, and you'll put one leg up and have it at the fleshiest part of the calf. Cross the other one over, and then keep the bottom knee bent a little bit, and then just do a little rock. A little side to side. See, this is nicer than we should have done this one first. Now, you might.
Caroline?
Yes.
I'm trying to see how are the blocks oriented.
Yeah, so it's one block like this. Here, I'll come closer.
It's just dark.
Yeah, I can't see the screen. Here it is.
Okay.
It's one block like this, and then up like that.
Oh, it's just one block. Okay.
Yeah, that's one block. Now, you might find an interesting spot, or you can change, like you can move the block a little lower down the leg or a little higher. But when you find an interesting spot, pause there. Oh, yeah, he found one. Pause on that and just move the ankle around a little on the bottom. But
Oh, okay.
yeah.
James wins. We have a winner.
All right, and then let's change legs.
While I have you,
Yeah.
when we were doing that marching on the obstacle course,
Uh-huh.
were we actually ever going on the blanket, or was it just an obstacle?
Yes, no, we were supposed to stand on it.
Oh, okay. Thank
We'll
you.
do it again, Mary. Not today,
Oh,
but we'll do it
another
again.
time, another time.
Yeah, just for you, just for you. The blanket makes it really more fun. Yeah, if you
Oh,
find
well.
a good spot, pause there, or maybe move the leg a little bit, and then just circle the foot around. This one's a little more passive than the squash we did earlier. But yeah, oh, you found it. What?
Is it though?
Maybe it's not. I don't know.
Sit that spot.
Yeah. One thing about the foam rollers, they're round, so that all the edges are soft. The blocks have a corner. So yeah. Okay. And then done with that, let's release. We'll take our last forward fold check-in. So hopefully we saved the best for last. Come on down. Is it a yoga miracle? Oh, good. I thought so. All right, and then we'll come down to sit in Dandasana with the legs forward. Yeah, Mary, I was looking at the screen and it looked really dark, but then sometimes when I check it later, like when I replay the video, it's quite light. So sorry if it's really dark. Yeah. Oh well, it is what it is. So here we are in Dandasana. Just prop the hands behind you for a second. Sit up tall and make this one really active. So reach the heels forward. Spread the toes a little bit and try to draw the pinky toes towards you. And firm up here through the core. And if you can lift the arms without collapsing back, do. But if you find that you're dropping back, just keep the hands down for support. Yeah. Now, if you're up, pretend somebody's holding onto your fingertips, just helping to assist in that lift. Great. And don't do it, but if we were to do this and flip upside down, we'd be in down dog. Huh? All right. And then let's back off of this. Bend the left knee. Hold the hands behind the thigh. You can interlace. And then press the leg to straight and pull back on the arms, and that'll help keep you lifted in the torso. Yeah, so like we've been doing for a lot this class is circle the ankles. In the other direction. And then we're going to pause when the toes are in the turned in position. Yeah, this is also called inversion in the feet or supination. And then take the left leg, bring it a little to the right, to the midline. Good. Okay, come back to center and now press the heels forward. Slide the right hand higher if you can, maybe all the way to the foot or maybe just partial, and then we'll twist, stretching the left arm back. Yeah. All right, come back to center. Bend the left knee, cross it over the right, and now take the right leg in slightly. Yes, great. Press down into the floor, sit up really, really tall. Keep the right heel pressing just whatever direction it's going. Turn the torso straight forward, and then we'll come forward, but a little goes a long way for this one in the torso. Are you guys feeling that in the right leg, maybe the IT band? Oh, yeah. Okie dokie, up we come. Undo. Just let both legs jiggle out a little bit. Side two. So bend up the right knee, hold on behind the thigh, press and lift. The leg lengthen, and then we'll take our ankle circles. You guys are going to be tired of this. Good for you. And then go the other direction. And then we'll pause with the ankles and the toes, in the in position. Now let's take the whole leg, right leg a little to the left. You might feel this tibialis anterior, the top of the foot, both if you're extra lucky. And then let's flex the feet, reach the heels forward, slide the left hand up, hold anywhere, and then turn and stretch right arm back. Yeah. Guys, we could be in a chorus line here. Right. Come back to center, bend the right knee, cross it over. Scooch the left leg in slightly, lightly. Press down through the hand, sit up tall, reach outward through the heel, and then hinge forward just a little. Breathe. Yeah, if you stop breathing, it's not really yoga anymore. It's just shapes. All right, guys, up we come. Let's undo the legs and then do another little yeah. All right, friends. So after quite a bit of hip flexion, let's do some hip extension. So come on down to your back, knees bent. Take the feet kind of wide on the mat and just let the knees drop from side to side or stay on one side. So it's the windshield wafer. Getting a little stretch in the front of the hip, whatever leg is on top. If you would ever need to finish up, if you just did one side, take some time for side two. And when you're ready to come back to center, we'll meet there. And just to reset, doing something symmetrical, put the hands on the legs close to the hip creases and just press straight ahead. Hands into the legs. Oh, yeah. You can either hold that or do a few press and release a couple of times. All right, friends, so we're heading into Shavasana, our final resting pose. If anybody still has the blanket roll, and if you wanted to, you could put it behind the thighs because that feels nice, or you could make a little, ooh, we just had the summer solstice. You could make Stonehenge if you wanted to, the blocks in the blanket. I like this one. It's kind of like a homemade bolster. And however you've set up, see if you can relax all around legs, from the hips down, relaxing inside and around the knees. Relax the ankles, soles of your feet, tops of your feet, and all the toes. Allow your whole body to breathe. Every time you breathe, that be a full body experience. Bring your awareness back to your body. Begin to move a little bit anywhere that feels right to move. Eventually, allow your knees to bend. You roll over to one side. Press into the floor to come up to sit. Anywhere you want to sit. We'll meet with hands at heart center. Thank your own body, everything that it's able to do. Thank yourself for being here. Namaste.
Almost.